One of the greatest things about Mario Kart is how the series can bring fans together. But that doesn't mean that everyone has the same opinions about each and every Mario Kart game. So I decided to ask the community to submit your craziest hot takes on the Mario Kart franchise, and let's just say that many of them were in fact a certified bruh moment. So without further ado, here they are. Mario Kart 7 is one of the most underrated Mario Karts. It introduced gliding, has good controls, and has one of the best track selections in the series with both new and old tracks. Also, it has the best Rainbow Road. Certified Hood Classic. Alright, well, I guess this is kind of a valid take because Mario Kart 7, despite it being like a super rushed game, was actually a really good one. I was also a fan of the controls. The gliding mechanic is actually a lot more superior than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is, and the retro track selection is literally like the best one in the series. Like, I don't know why this game gets so much flack. Personally, I think it's because a lot of people still hold on to Mario Kart Wii, such as myself, so I think after having such a banger game in the series, Mario Kart 7 pretty much got overshadowed. Bone Dry Dunes is one of the best Mario Kart 8 Nitros. Now, if this was me back in like 2017, I would have totally disagreed with you, but now I kind of vibe with Bone Dry Dunes. It's personally not my favorite Mario Kart track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it's definitely up there, especially after you learn how to play this damn track on 200cc. It's a lot of fun. However, I think I know why a lot of people hate this track. It's honestly probably because the layout isn't the most friendly, and I totally get that, but like I said, once you get used to it, it's not too bad. And personally, since there's a lot of Dry Bones in this track, I gotta love it, you know? Dry Bones is one of my favorite characters, and to see some representation of him in a track is actually pretty cool. Mario Kart Double Dash is kinda overrated. Honestly, I think it's actually pretty underrated. I don't really see that many people say they love this game. I hear a lot more people saying how they don't like it because of the controls. And personally to me, I think the controls are fine. I don't think they're like really wonky compared to, I don't know, Super Circuit or Super Mario Kart. But yeah, I can understand why maybe people don't like it because like it doesn't have like tricks and there's no retro tracks, for example. But other than that, I don't actually see that many people talk about Mario Kart Double Dash. I mean, maybe in my generation, they talk about it a lot, but in this current gen community, not so much. But I personally would implore you guys to check out Mario Kart Double Dash if you have access to it. Mario Kart DS was the first good title in the series. Oh man, there's so much wrong in this. I'm just kidding. To each their own. But while Mario Kart DS is a phenomenal game in my opinion, I still don't think it's the first good title in the series. We mentioned earlier, Mario Kart Double Dash. You may think the controls are sucky or it doesn't have that much content, but man, the replayability and just the feel that you get playing that game, it's just icing to the cake. So despite Mario Kart DS being a very, very good title, especially with the controls and with a lot of the tracks, it's a hard disagree. Mario Kart Tour is the best Mario Kart game even when it had the gacha gimmick. Whew, that is a very, very big hot take. Now, I think Mario Kart Tour is a lot better, personally, without the gacha. It makes it easier to get the skins, especially since it's so freaking hard, at least in the past few years, to get even one freaking skin. You had to literally like spend money if you didn't get it from a pipe pull. So at least there's not too much luck involved with the pulls now. Like, you could still pull skins and new carts and whatever, but it's not as completely luck-based anymore. I like how if there's a spotlight character for that week, you can still afford it via the rubies that they give you when you play the game, but I also like how they're actually like in a discount. So, I don't know, Mario Kart Tour to me is a lot better now. I don't think it's the best Mario Kart game right now, but it's still up there. I will agree that it's still like one of the better ones, but when it had the gacha, I cannot agree with that. You are insane. The Waluigi Stadium arrangement in the BCP is disgraceful. Mero, how could you? Just kidding. I kind of understand what you mean, because like one time we played Waluigi Stadium back to back and I could not stand hearing it for the second time. Like, I just kept hearing the melody like over and over and over again. And I had to actually listen to like the two differences between like the GCN and the Wii version versus the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe one. And I could see the reason for me why I would hate like listening to it after a while is because since it's more jazzy, you hear more like instruments. So when I'm hearing the new version, there's just so much of the trumpet. It's like blasting in my ears like most of the time. And then my ears just get tired of hearing the trumpet itself. So the original just didn't have that, right? There were more like electronic sounds, I guess, that way they did on the computer. So it didn't sound like it was like in your face all the freaking time. And I personally think there were more layers in the original and the Wii version compared to the BCP, but that's also just me, but a valid take, definitely. Hot take. 3DS Rainbow Road is overrated. It's a great track, I won't deny it, but I feel like everyone treats it like it's flawless and the peak of Mario Kart track design. This is a hard agree. I still don't get why people love 3DS Rainbow Road. It's literally just one lap and there's really not many shortcuts you can take. It's also a straight line. There's no like different paths you can also go to. Like literally, yeah, you have these boost panels over here, but you're not even gonna be using them most of the time because you'll be airborne. And I think the biggest thing I don't like about 3DS Rainbow Road is the fact that it kind of just looks like Mario Kart 8 Deluxes, where they're both like two space station themed, you know? Like you see the rocket ship in the background, you're on the moon, you know? I get that it's supposed to be in space. Rainbow Road is supposed to be in space. It's always been in space, but there's not a lot of Mario flair. Yeah, you'll see like a couple toads in the background, but besides it like having that and just like the rainbow texture, it doesn't really feel like it. I miss the old days where like N64 Rainbow Road had like the fireworks come up and you see like Luigi's face or something, or you go on Mario Kart Wii and you see the star bits in action like around you. Like it feels like there's a lot of Mario references that make it more Mario-y and also Rainbow Road-ish at the exact same time. And I don't really get that action in 3DS Rainbow Road, you know, personally. So yeah, those are pretty much my reasons and I can completely understand why you think that way as well. Block Fort is not the best battle arena. I think Block Fort is one of the better ones, but I agree, it is not the best one. I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I really like that one battle arena in Mario Kart 7. It's kind of like Honey Hive Galaxy, where very similar take to DS Twilight House with like the different rooms and such. But at least there's some rooms that were actually a little bit bigger and you could also like teleport into different areas of the map. I don't know. I thought that was like really cool. And you also had like the bees as actual obstacles. But personally, I would love to see a remake of Double Deck. Like no one really talks about Double Deck as much. And I would love to see how they would make like a double layered track. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Inside Drift is more comfortable in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Oh man. Personally, I don't agree to this because I'm an outside drift main. But for those who are inside drift mains, salute to you because I don't know how y'all do it. I do it every once in a while as a meme when we stream, but I could never tell myself, yeah, I'm gonna main as like Toad on the jet bike. Totally, this is what I'm gonna do. No, I cannot. I will agree that some tracks are a lot more doable in inside drift, but as a whole, I would just personally bite the bullet. Like if it's not really good for outside drifting, I would still probably do better overall because mentally my head is more to the point where I'm more comfortable with outside drift. But I completely understand. But for me, I don't agree. Super Mario Kart is one of the best Mario Kart games in the series. Alright, so who said this? I'm gonna go to their house and punch them straight in the face. Oh, that was me. So yeah, Super Mario Kart. I gotta say, I used to hate it. It used to frustrate me a lot, but I don't know. I just got really into the game, especially when they added into like the Super Nintendo Online. I don't know. It just feels more right now. I don't know if it's because I've been playing it on the Pro Controller, even though it should be worse than an actual Super Nintendo controller. But bruh, I like how challenging it is, and you actually do get like screwed over if you actually hit a wall. I feel like it's one of those games where you need to like really spend time with and perfect. I think there's a lot of complicated tech in the game, which I really adore, and you could play with pretty much every character in the game if you really want to. It's not like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe where you can, again, only use like a few combos to say it's viable. You can literally master any character and do pretty well. However, I will say there isn't a lot of diversity in terms of the track, so it does become a little boring, but I guess just the competitive aspect and the feel of being able to go through, I don't know, Mario Circuit 3 flawlessly is just a satisfying feeling. Desert tracks are actually enjoyable to race on and have a nice atmosphere. This is true. I love desert tracks. Dry Jet Ruins is one of my favorite tracks of all time. I think a lot of people just hate desert tracks because of the theme. I'm not the biggest fan when it comes to like New Super Mario Bros. And them including a desert like world, because you know it is kind of a boring thing to look at. When you're playing a platformer, I feel like you have more time to admire the actual like background, and you know you're actually interacting a lot with the course itself, right? But in Mario Kart, it's like you're just driving mostly on road or whatever path, right? So everything in the background is more secondary, and I don't really get caught up in the point where like, oh, I hate seeing sand, you know? Like sand is sand, yeah, it's off-road. It's the same thing as like going through snow. So to me, I don't get bothered by it. And a lot of the desert tracks have really banger music to make up for it. And a lot of them also have like fun turns. So yeah, I personally also love desert tracks. Mario Kart DS's mission mode is not a good game mode, and the Wii's getting scrapped was a good idea. Yeah, valid take. Mario Kart DS's mission mode was fun. Yeah, don't get me wrong, especially when I was playing it for the first time, I thought it was like amazing and everything. But after replaying it, yeah, I agree it's not really that breathtaking. It's there, and I approve of it because at least it gives everyone content, like single player content. But it was definitely very redundant. Like you have almost the same things you have to do, like go through these gates, break these blocks, stuff like that. Like it just seemed like a lot of the levels were reskinned. I don't know if I agree with the second half of this take, because I feel like if they went with this idea again for Mario Kart Wii, they probably would have expanded and made it even better. I think Mario Kart DS, due to like, I guess, hardware limitations, couldn't make like a fancy idea for mission mode. With the Wii, they could have probably expanded and made something even better. Mario Kart 8's battle mode was cool. Ay, I don't know how many people you're gonna stress out in the comment section, man, but that's definitely a big hot take that I don't personally agree. I tried the original Mario Kart 8's battle mode when it first came out, and it was just awful. I never touched it again, dude. It was just so dumb. Like, what is even the point of that? The first time I played, all I did was just run around the track. Like, I didn't even stop. Like, I just kept going back and forth and like around, rotating and just hitting people along the way. And everyone else kept doing the same thing. So there was like no strat in terms of like maybe staying in one place for a while, or maybe being able to sneak up on people. Like, it's even really hard to do that, because if everyone has the same idea, you could just be racing around doing like a cat and mouse type of vibe the whole entire time, and it's just dumb. Every character, cart, wheels, and glider should have all the same stats. I get really tired of seeing the same exact combos everywhere online. Now, I get that Wave 4 changed the meta, but I'd like to see more originality with combos than people. I definitely agree with this. I miss those days when, like, your cart and character didn't matter that much. Like, yeah, we had Mario Kart Wii's Funky Kong and Daisy being, like, a little faster than, like, pretty much everyone else in the roster, but most other characters in that game weren't that different, and you could still enjoy the game without playing those characters. Like, you weren't in a completely disadvantage. Yes, you were in an advantage, but it wasn't, like, super intense to the point that it was unplayable. Like, you could still play, I don't know, Dry Bones on the bullet bike and still somewhat compete with a Daisy mock player, because the stats are still relatively same. It's just that Dry Bones is slower and he falls off the stage a lot easier. In Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, you'll use like the worst combo in the world and you cannot even drive with it, like at all. Like, it's so dumb. And I also hate the fact that the Badwagon is one of those bad vehicles. Like, why did they make the coolest looking vehicle so bad? It makes no sense. So yeah, I completely agree to the point where I think the carts, wheels, and gliders shouldn't impact the game that much. Maybe just a little bit, like tweak each one just a tiny bit, but to change it completely is like pretty dumb, right? So you saw a lot of people play Waluigi Wiggler for the longest time because it was just way more viable to use than this abomination. You will never see people use this freaking combo online. So yeah, this is a reasonable take. Mario Kart Wii would have been better off if its Wi-Fi stayed dead after Nintendo servers died. Infamous item selection being completely unbalanced introduces the most hated item in the series, which I'm guessing they're talking about the TC. Of the items introduced in Wii, guess which one returned in another entry? Bam Shock Dodge equals an instant win button, Funky Kong on Flame Runner, nuff said, constant blue shells, and every other track has an ultra cut that's required to master in order to win. While this is a very, very valid take, I'm gonna still hard pass. As someone that's a really diehard of Mario Kart Wii, I cannot agree to this list. Yeah, the game is pretty much broken. But guess what? A lot of people play Super Smash Bros. Melee, and that game came out in like 2001. Even though Marth's grab is like 70 feet long, who cares? People still play Marth, and people love playing these characters. And even if there's only like 4 viable characters or something in that game, who cares? People still play that game. And even if there's only 20 stages or so in the entire game, who cares? People play this competitively. So yeah, that's why I feel like Mario Kart Wii is like the Super Smash Bros. Melee in the Mario Kart franchise. Even though a lot of stuff makes no sense, it's still so fun to play. And I completely understand to the newer generation and to those who don't see Mario Kart Wii in this specific way. But for me, that's a personal fan and who plays this game somewhat like competitively, I guess. Yeah, I cannot agree with this. I'm sorry. Tour is Mario Kart 9. Mario Kart 9 was released in 2019 for mobile devices. Mario Kart Tour is Mario Kart 9. Mario Kart 9 was released in 2019. It's alright, I get it! You guys need to chill. I don't know how many people you're gonna make angry in the comment section, but yeah, despite me wanting to agree because Nintendo is technically saying Mario Kart Tour is Mario Kart 9, I don't want to agree with that because it's a mobile game, right? It's a freaking mobile game. It doesn't even like feel like Mario Kart when you play as much, you know? Like it doesn't. It's just gross to play on the phone most of the time, even with the horizontal like capabilities. And you guys already know how much I play Tour like with y'all during stream, so like it's still way better to play on horizontal, but it's not the same experience in my opinion. And the fact that like you can't play all the tracks at once is a bummer to me. Like you only have a certain selection every like tour that comes out every 2 weeks. It sucks. A lot of the characters are not accessible in the beginning. It doesn't seem like it has the same feel of Mario Kart in general, and that's why I'm disagreeing. Mario Kart 9 is not happening. They're adding so much to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so all they need to do in the future is port the game rather than making a new one. Now, I can definitely understand this take. I know a few years back, Sakurai, you know, the creator of Smash Bros, has mentioned that don't really look forward to a new Smash game anytime soon. And if he were to make a new Smash game, he wouldn't make it more Ultimate than Ultimate already is. You know what I'm saying? Like, since Ultimate has so many things, like characters and the stages and whatnot, it's gonna be very hard to top something like that. And Mario Kart 8 Deluxe seems to be taking that route. Because of the Booster Course Pass, there's going to be like almost 100 tracks in the game. And, you know, they're adding also a few new characters. So it seems like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is getting like a similar Super Smash Bros. Ultimate treatment here. But I'm going to still have to disagree because Mario Kart does very, very well in every console. Yeah, Smash Bros. Does well too, but like Mario Kart is like made by Nintendo themselves. Like I just feel like it's more of a collaborative work compared to Smash Bros. You always talk about how Sakurai is like the mastermind behind Smash Bros. In general, but literally anyone in Nintendo headquarters can like pick up Mario Kart and like come up with like, a crazy gimmick, and that would still sell like millions. So like to me personally, Mario Kart is just the type where you can kind of milk but also make new stuff. I'm no game designer, but I personally think it would be easier to make a new Mario Kart game than a new Smash Bros. Game. Plus, new content is still being made for Mario Kart Tour. It's not like Mario Kart has been in the drought in terms of actual content. There's still new content coming out like pretty much every 2 weeks, so yeah. And lastly, our last hot take of the day. This better be a banger. Oh boy, I've been waiting for this all my freaking life. This game sucks. Bruh. Thank you guys so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and drop your list of hot takes in the comment section below. Because if this video gets like 5,000 views, then you bet I'm doing a part 2.